Hey guys, you guys log in, say hello, and let me know what you're up to. I'm going to do this on a more regular basis. This is just kind of take a little time and get to know what I've been missing and what's going on. Yeah, it has been a year or two, at least. And how you doing, man? I just set this up again because I think I'm on a new computer. Yeah, I am on a new computer since I was streaming last. That's why none of my settings were on. But taking a break. Got a train club meeting coming tomorrow, and should have some interesting news coming out of that. We're going to talk about the budget, which is boring as hell, but hey, it is what it is. Sorry, I'm just playing. Okay, got sidetracked. I was like, ooh, a different window. Stats. I always like I always like statistics. So our website said it said that we had a ridiculous amount of visits in the last week, which was weird. So, but that's okay. That's cool. So, hey, what's on the bench? Let's see. I just took something off the bench. Hey, Randall. I just got online just a minute ago. Um, and I was actually on another stream yesterday, which I thought was really interesting. A lot of video of layouts the guys were sharing. It's NNG stream, I think it was. Anyways, mostly narrow gauge guys. And let's see. There's a guy that I work with in our club, and he asked me to put some adhesive material on the back of some roofing material so he could line up the shingles. So I just got done doing that. That's off the bench. I made 5 O scale kit conversions for him. That's off the bench. I've got some 3D print stuff in the chimneys for a couple of kits that I came out with, and that's all done. And I've got 2 of those to deliver to him. And then I've got a bunch of plans that I'm going through for future kits, and they're all narrow gauge Colorado stuff. So I'm kind of excited to get started on some of that stuff. So. And let's see what else. I did. Dave Vollmer down in the Springs just sent me a photo for some narrow gauge kits that he had put together that I had sent him. And they look really good. It's nice to see some of the kits that I produce actually in the finished form on people's layouts. So that's kind of cool to see. Um, so other than that, on the bench right now, there is a office building for Ridgeway, Colorado that I'm working on. There's actually one on the bench there, right there, and then there's one up on the shelf right there, and it's the same kit. but one of them's mine and one of them's for a member of our train club. So I'm actually doing two of the same kits, and that's a Bantam Model Works kit that he did exclusively for me, and we sold out on them. And then we have the Roundhouse, and we almost sold out on the Roundhouse. I have a couple of those left, so which is pretty cool. Um, so that's the next project, is mostly to get that off the bench so I can deliver that and then basically turn it over to the person, and mostly to get off the bench because it's been sitting on there. And I hate to say this, it's embarrassing, but I have it for over a year sitting on the bench, and it's just been put on the side, and I've been working on other projects, mostly designing kits. I think I'm up to 75 different kits, so we should have a couple more coming online too, which I'm excited about. Let's see what else. A bunch of the stuff that are on that are on the shelves behind me. A bunch of those kits are going to end up on the layout, but there's several on there, at least a few that probably won't end up on a layout at all. So I'm gonna have to figure out exactly what I want to do. If I just want to leave them on a display shelf, put it on a club module that I can take to shows, or whatever. So haven't really decided what. So if you guys are working on a project, I'd be curious to see what you guys are working on. For 3 years. Well, you got me beat. I usually turn them over pretty quick, so for a year for me is pretty long time, but 3 years would be even longer. I would like at some point in the future to put do a mobile camera and then start showing you the train room, the towns that I've got planned, and where they're going to go. Still kind of working some of that out, but working through a track plan. But it may start out with just really simple, with like 2 different towns that are I have all the kits for, and I can flesh them out with a little bit of the stuff that are on the shelves behind me. But for right now, Ridgeway, Colorado is going to be a big part of it. Placerville, Colorado is going to be a big part of it, mostly because I have most of those kits either in progress or done. So Placerville is almost done. Grandpa Rails, hey man. Haven't decided what I want to weather and need to do that before I put it together per the instructions. Yeah, it's always a balancing act of when exactly you weather and what you want to do. I was putting together a Panzer a couple days ago, 3 days ago. We had a lot of house guests and stuff like that. So 3 days ago, I think, and it's really tricky to figure out when exactly you're supposed to paint certain components, whether you're supposed to add them together. We're still live, brother. No, we've been streaming for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. One of my metrics probably says so. And we are not recording. Robin, welcome. If any of you guys are not subscribed to my Facebook channel, it is down below. Feel free to check that out. And I will make sure that it's in there. No, it's not in there. Let me add that real quick, in case you guys are looking for it. It's general chat. Sorry. Multitasking. All right. So, I don't really have any topic. Actually, there is one topic I'd like to ask, but now that we got a few people on here, but I'm in the process of coming up with what my next couple of kits are going to be. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but I have 31 HO kits right now, and then between S scale and O scale, all the different variants. I have a total of 75 kits that I've come up with since July of last year. Um, and I'm kind of looking for like what the next direction is going to be, what exactly I want to do next. Um, so, long story short, kind of looking for ideas. Right now, I'm in the process of finishing up a few kits for Ridgeway and Placerville, and I'm just looking at other Colorado topics. I've got a lot of stuff that I've got plans for. I've got the depot at Como for the CNS that I could do, Denver, South Park, and Pacific. There's a bunch of Rio Grande stuff, and there's a bunch of RGS Rio Grande Southern stuff. I'm probably going to do the Sargent Eating House and Bunkhouse, which will mate nicely with Bill Banta's kits that he does for Sargent. He does a Roundhouse. That one's pretty cool. Um, and let's see, what else am I working on? There's a couple of kits that I'm working on. There's another vendor, and this is not really announced yet, but I will talk about it. I won't tell you who the vendor is, but there's another vendor that wants to do some of my O scale kits, and I'm not really an O scaler, so I'm okay with letting them do that. But in return, I'm going to pick up a couple of their HO scale kits, and I would be able to start producing those exclusively, but they would still do the S scale and O scale because they're not really into HO scale. They're O scalers, I'm HO scalers, so we're going to kind of do a little bit of a swap. We're going to do that kind of on a test basis. We'll do a couple of kits, but once we finalize that, I can announce it. I can't really talk about who it is, but I can kind of tell you that we're talking about doing that. I've also reached out to Bill Banta and see if he's interested in us doing a third project, and he gave me some ideas for that. But we've already done the Ridgeway office building, and we've done the Ridgeway Roundhouse, so those are done. And I'm in the process of getting some ideas of what we could possibly do for a third project. And that's mostly to be able to offer some of this stuff to the community, because I'm not really interested in sitting down and cranking out a ton of kits and just grinding them out. And that's all I do is come up with like 30 kits and then just produce those and sell those and nothing else. Some of this is to kind of help the community out with some of the stuff they might want. And I've actually done quite a few projects that came out as kits, but where they were things that people requested they wanted. Um, Grandpa Rails, once I get my track down, I'll order a few more kits. Um, and there's some of the kits that we have are actually pretty simple, and would be good, small layout type things. Some of the kits we have are pretty elaborate. The Cumbra section house that I did, that thing was kind of a beast and has 3 different kinds of 3D printed parts. And if you guys haven't noticed, there's a 3D printer sitting right here that I just got calibrated. So I'm in the process of bringing that online. So some of the 3D parts that I've done in the past were from other modelers that were helping out, and I appreciate their help a ton. But I also realize that I need to start doing a lot of that stuff on my own. So that's what we're going to point towards next. So I just need to set aside some time to ramp that up. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I assume since you jumped in, you got an update to let that's something that you can do. You can also become a member of the channel too, and I think for as little as like $1 a month or something, and then kind of point me in directions. You have a little bit more clout, if you remember, because I'll listen to that. Um, Colorado Midland Station at Leadville will be awesome, even if you only produce the plans, blueprints. I really want the station. Um, Thomas Morse Trains, hey, welcome. We're talking about ideas for laser kits. Any of you guys who haven't seen my website, there's a link. They'll be down in the description that you can see. It's all broken out by H, O, S, and O. Those are the scales that we do right now. And I would be interested to see the Colorado Midland Station in Leadville. You know, I could even do just kind of the shell. And sorry, I'm looking that up. Yeah, you put depot in and you get like flooded. Gillette, Basalt, Midland. All right. Let me add Leadville. So, Dennis, that's a brick structure, correct? Yeah, it's a nice looking structure. I like the I like all the dormer windows. It's not a ton. One, two. Yeah, you put Colorado Depot, and it's ridiculous how many hits you get. So anyway, Thomas Moore, thank you for joining. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I wouldn't call my kits very high end. There's probably two manufacturers that I really aspire to uh, get to, but they're pretty good. And you know, I cut my teeth on a lot of really crappy kits for some model for some train club members. A lot of the kits that I made were on older kits that weren't laser cut, and I started kind of insisting that look, if I'm gonna keep doing kits for you, they got to be laser cut kits because you know I just can't cut through you know old wood and not have it shatter and stuff. So only two photos exist. Wooden. Yeah, I must have been looking at the wrong one. Yeah, if it's a, you know, and I can do a lot. Hey, Dave, um, Sky Rail Productions joins. So at this point, I'm seeing. I just got on because I was just gonna like just chat with myself. Uh, so if this is a good time, if we can do 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, I can get on. I don't have a train club meeting. I don't have any of the other. I'm actually in multiple clubs. None of those guys meet on Wednesday, so this is a good time for me. This is 8 o'clock Mountain Time, so 7 o'clock California time, West Coast, and it would be well, it'd be late. It'd be 10 o'clock on East Coast. So if this would be a good time for everybody, I can jump on Wednesdays. I can't promise I'd be real regular. I haven't been regular for well, let me rephrase that. I have not streamed on a regular basis since like 2 years ago, probably. Uh, Thomas Morse trains. I have a rare HO scale train set, and it's Paducah and Louisville coal train. Cool. I went through Paducah one time, coming back to Indiana from where were we? Florida, and just came across some shops, and I was like, hey, I've seen pictures of this. This is kind of cool. So, and even in the future, I could probably do some. We could do some Zoom sessions too. I could borrow the club's Zoom account because it's not really a big deal for me to use it because it costs zero money unless we happen to be using it. The club uses it twice a month at 7:30 to 9 or so. So I could, since I'm in the club and I'm paying dues for the club, I would probably be able to use it. Good, yeah. Send me an email. I live off of email. I'm on email constantly, so which is good because if I'm working over there or I'm designing here, I'm constantly on email, either with my phone. Um, Grandpa Rails says, "Did you say you're going to make a train station?" Dennis, Otter Creek and Rio Grande was just talking about a depot that he was interested in, and so that was one that he thought he would be interested um, in possibly some sort of a project down the road. So, in addition to a depot, I'm working on it's like a crew cabin and a bunkhouse as well. There it is. Yeah, Dennis, you don't do anything small, do you? Wow, some of those chimneys are killer. I see 5 chimneys. Is that a depot and a freight house? So I see 4 different kinds of chimneys. 5 chimneys in this view. Oh no, there's another one. 6. That's just like the end one, the 2 ends. Oh, I closed it. Damn it. Yeah, damn right, it's extensive. I don't mind doing one-off projects. My brother even asked me if I do a one-off project of a house that our grandparents used to live in, and I'm like, I do one-off projects all the time. So let me look at the other photo. Oh, this is the other angle. Damn, that chimney goes from the from the ground level all the way above the roof line. I think there's 2 flag posts. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, most folks wouldn't want it, but you know what? There would be enough people that would be interested in something unique like that that would take up the side of a trackage that people would be interested in. If that shows up on a Sanborn map, we could at least get the footprint. If there's no if there's no blueprints or anything, I can probably get around that pretty easily. If you look at the what is it the second picture, not the black and white, not the sepia one, the black and white photo shows a dormer like facing a chimney. And that's probably just how it happened to be. They needed the chimney in that location to go down through. So this thing is 3 floors, 2.5, 3 floors in some places. Other places it's a freight depot, so it's big. So yeah, Grandpa Rails. There you go. There's actually some Sanborn groups on Facebook too. Yeah, it's got some oddities, but you know what? That's what really uh, gets people going. And that'd be the type of kit that you could come up with that you could enter in a contest and the judges would eat that up because they'd say no one's ever done this before. Well, that's because very few people. Are you? I'm in Colorado. I'm in Denver. I'm on the south side of Denver. Um, where are you? Are you a Colorado person or I can't remember. I was actually going to ask you on the stream this last weekend because you were doing a lot of CNS stuff, and I was like, I wonder where he lives. But there may be some local resources here that we could tap into. Matter of fact, somebody in my club might actually have more information on this. So it's in Midland. There's a couple of big CNS guys, but there's another guy that does a Colorado. He does Florence and Cripple Creek and Midland. Saw on a forum somewhere that the Gazette may have had plans. Northwest Oklahoma. Okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? This is kind of the project that I really like doing because people, I mean, I could come out with another bunkhouse, but do we need another bunkhouse kit? I mean, it's be nice for me to have one, but I mean, if I want a bunkhouse, I have unbuilt bunkhouse kits from Banta that's sitting in the shelves behind me. I don't really need to make a bunkhouse kit myself when I don't have ones that are built that I bought from Banta years ago. But nobody's going to have this. This will be kind of the stuff about 8 hours from Denver. Got it. So, in other words, you're in the neighborhood, which is kind of how Colorado is. I mean, it takes me 6 hours to drive to Southwest Colorado. Yeah, that's a cool building. Rail serve structures. Yeah, um, I'm in the process of putting together some rail serve structures for the Rio Grande Southern oil facilities, and they are kind of cool. The wider neighborhood, yeah. Hang on, let me pull them down. This, this is one of those side projects, and if in the Gazette, the last earlier this year, so probably 5 issues ago and 4 issues ago, there was a Conoco and Texaco bulk oil facility for Placerville. It's actually the north end of Placerville. Um, uh, there was a series of 3 articles from Craig Symington, and I basically and he scratch built them, and I was thinking I might want to do kits for these. So this is the bulk oil facility. I mean, it's a pretty plain building, but it's corrugated and it has kind of some weird tar paper on the sides. Um, and then there will be a oil storage tank, which I still need to get set up for the 3D printer. And then this one is the Texaco storage bulk oil storage plant. There's a little shed that's going to go here on the end, and then there'll be a door that goes through, raised dock. All of this sits on pegs, on footers, and it's going to be raised up probably about a foot to 18 inches, and then it's got all the places for the posts, and they kind of sat roughly like that. And these are both rail served industries, and I have a couple of what are they, San Juan models, Conoco tank cars, and that's perfect for this. So I have a place to park them. So yeah, it would be a tank car facility, and this is a spur, and so you'd have to jostle stuff around because it's on a spur, and you'd have to put the Conoco cars over here, but pull the Texaco ones out, put the Conoco ones in, and then bring the Texaco one back over here. I think there's a little shed over here, by this building, and then there's another shed that gets built up on this one. It's kind of designed, but I haven't cut it and built it. Um, this is it's got a oil tank, petrol and oil tank that sits here, and I don't know. I think there was two of them here, and then there was over on the Texaco one on this end. There was two more at one time, but I think a long time ago there was like 1920s. There might have been three tanks for Texaco, but there's only the saddles later on and one tank for the Texaco, and then I've only seen one photo of the Conoco, how many tanks it has, but I've got up on the shelf I've got a Telluride Conoco building as well that is going to be part of this series. But this is kind of like one of those side projects that I want to do, but it takes a lot of work to get to this point, and I still have to get the design work done on so I can get the 3D printer printing these. So we're working on the design stuff too. So yeah, those are cool tank cars, aren't they? I've actually bought the Denver show in the spring. I already had three of them, and then I told him the next day I got to go home and figure out which road numbers I have. And came back the next day and I bought two more that I now have five of them. So I really need, RailServe, as Dennis was saying, RailServe Industries on the layout. Joe just joined. Hey, Joe. It's good to see you on. Yeah, they call them bulk oil facilities for what that's worth. So Gerald Stewart joined. Welcome. Yeah, they're gorgeous cars. And I was talking to San Juan, and they kind of have a glut of them. I thought they might drop the price on them, but they never have. And I know they have a lot, but they also did them. They did them HO and they did them O scale as well. The O scale ones are just huge and they look great. I think if I were to get into model railroading again, I would probably go into S scale, but I think O scale is just too big. A lot of the kits that I've come up with, I've created in O scale as well for a club buddy of mine, Mr. Don. His layout was at the narrow gauge convention. He just had one of his friends finish up a bunch of my kits in O scale, and I was pulling them out of the boxes as we were looking at them, and I got to see a bunch of my kits in O scale, and I built them all in HO scale, but I got to see them in O scale, and that was pretty cool because I was like, damn, these things are huge. And I'm just looking at them, and I've only cut the parts and not built them in O scale, but I know what they look like in HO because it's just a conversion factor at that point. And I got to see them all, and they did a great job putting them together. And it was kind of fun to see them in a different scale. But I look at them, and I'm just like, I don't have room for this. I mean, I have a decent amount of room. It's not huge. It's bigger than like a single bedroom. It's probably two and a half bedrooms worth of space, maybe a little bit more. But it's not bad. And there's no way I could put O scale in it. It would just it would be an insult to do it because you'd have room for track, a little bit of room for a building. But I've had O scalers tell me no more big buildings because we don't want them. So just do smaller structures. Like this structure would probably be manageable in O scale, but this is probably pushing the limit because they only have 18 inches from the front of their, where the fascia is to the very back wall. So if they're going to do, say, one, maybe two tracks and then store it bulk oil storage facility, that's all the space they have. So I had a couple of them tell me, and they're like, hey, those small little houses that you've got, those are awesome. But like the Cumbres and the Cumbres Pass section house, that thing would just be a monster. It would take up all their space. And then the warehouses in Placerville, way too big. So Joe wants to put me on the spot and ask me if I've started my layout yet. If you're talking about have I started building kits for it, yes. But have I laid track? No. So the model 30 by 70. If you're talking about this one, and this is in, of course, all my kit displays are HO. This one's about 20, well, with a little bit of siding and stuff, 24 feet by 43 feet. So 23 by 43 in HO. So that's, and you know, honestly, it looks pretty boring when you look at this. It doesn't really have much, and the backside really has nothing on it because there's no photos of this. So, and since tank cars are going to sit right up against the backside of it, I'm probably going to leave it blank. Same as this one. I can throw a window or two in there, but anybody could do that. But as far as this, it's got some really weird block 3-foot by 4-foot tar paper panels that got attached to it, layered, and it got painted white, but the tar paper doesn't retain paint very well, so the tar paper faded really badly, so it really looks brick kind of stuff. Yeah, it's not a very big kit, and this isn't even out yet. Matter of fact, I've already cut this in S scale and sent it to my buddy in California who's been helping me work on chimneys and stuff like that in 3D prints and doing some design work. So it'll be fun when it's done. Matter of fact, oh, here's the little pump house that goes next to it. And then here's the sheet of doors and windows that are going to go on it. I mean, there's not many. Anyway, you get the idea. There's not many doors and windows on this, and some of these are frames. The center two pieces are frames, and one of them is a little stovepipe metal panel that's going to go over the tar paper. But, you know, these are all built off of a lot of photographs. And I actually have plans for these. CNL lines, welcome. And I have Mike Blazek architectural plans or sketches, however you want to classify them, because sometimes they're not exactly perfectly square, but they're pretty darn good. And I have a few photos to back it up with, but they're not huge, but they're accurate, and they're all Rio Grande Southern stuff. So probably going to branch out a little bit and do a couple of Denver and Rio Grande Western buildings, more utility type buildings like bunkhouse. And even though I said I wouldn't need a bunkhouse, I had people request a bunkhouse and the eating house in Sargent, Colorado. But yeah, as far as suggestions, Dennis sent me the Leadville. That's a crazy depot. I can't imagine. You know, thank God we're talking about an HO structure, because that one chimney goes on the very end. It's, if they're, say, 10-foot ceilings, I don't know how tall that is. 35 feet? It's ridiculous. What will a 1-to-1 footprint be give or take track playing this week, and I have bulk oil dealer planned for one of the. So these are two separate buildings. So this is the Conoco one with a little pump house. This is a Texaco one with, it's going to have like an open frame shed right here. And you could do either one of those. I mean, you wouldn't have to do both of them. And the other one is about 65 feet and by roughly 35 feet. So that one's a little bit bigger. Now this one's just kind of flat roof panel, and you're going to put corrugated on it, and it doesn't really overhang very much. This other one overhangs, and it's got porch posts on it, and you'll notice that I know you can't see this. I've posted some stuff on Facebook so that you can see, but you can kind of see there's notches all the way down. These are actually the rafter ends that stick out, and then there'll be porch posts underneath with little kind of V supports. So all of this has the rafter ends. The little porch that's on the end here will have rafter ends that stick out. The back side, even though it might not be seen very much, on my layout it probably won't be seen at all. They've got the little rafter ends all the way down too. So when you paint it, you can actually paint it and you can show the rafter ends. This thing has a, what was it? This one is corrugated walls and a tar paper roof, which is kind of weird. The other building is tar paper walls with corrugated roof. So it's like the opposite of the two. So you could do a bunch of stuff with the interior for this. I just kind of have it stuck together with painter's tape because there's little notches and stuff in the floor that has everything kind of link up. But you could do some interior details on this, and again, this is just the basic framework, so there's not much to it. It'll have a lot more. It'll have board by board construction for the wood dock. There'll be some board by board framework that goes in a little shed on the side, little bumpers for where the trucks pull up. I've already got a couple of Conoco oil drums that are painted appropriately. And I've actually got a bunch more I cast in plaster just because I wanted to try it. So yeah, so it's probably going to get positioned as two separate kits because I don't know everybody wants both of them. And I don't really care if I'll probably sell a couple, at least to club members, and then I'll sell a couple online. But for me, it's one that I want to make. So the Grantline kit is actually modeled after the prototype of this building, but this is going to be the actual prototype of the building. So this one's going to have the oil tanks on this side. It's going to have the little utility shed over here. It's going to be raised up all the way around, a lot like the Grantline. So they kind of took their cues from the Grantline kit, but then if you look on their kit, they actually reference similarities between it and some structure that was in Southern California. So that made me wonder if it was even modeled after this building. But there's not much really to the kit. So I don't know if it's really a Grantline, that they took a prototype off of it or what. But as far as I know, and I'd have to pull it up to look. I don't remember if they had the two little windows up here. Those two windows match these two. But you can look at Old Placerville. A reference I use all the time is the Friends of Cumberson Toltec. They've got, I don't remember how many, 50,000, 60,000 photos on their website. and you can look up and get all kinds of ideas. But if you're modeling a specific location along the Rio Grande Southern or any of the Colorado, the Denver Rio Grande Western, if you're looking at the RGS or the Grand, it's a great reference, especially the RGS. But if you're looking for a Conoco plant, you just type in Conoco, search, and it'll bring up all the photos that have Conoco, because they take all of that information and they put it in the metadata so it's searchable on the photo. So it'll pull that up, and then there's check boxes you can actually check. Show me everything that you guys have labeled as Conoco, and then pull that up, and then you can get all that information. Every once in a while, I find something, and it's something that like a photo is flipped. There was one that was in Durango. I couldn't place it because they had the photo 180, flipped over, and it was like a mirror image. So love the RGS, brother. So if you take a look at my website that has all the kits that I've created, you can see I'm going like town by town. So I don't know if you've been to the website where he lists all the available kits now or in the past. It's what is it? RGSRR.com, and there's a structures link, and if you click on that, it'll show you. There's like a railroad engine link. There's a structures link, and it'll list everything that's out there and available. And every once in a while, I'll look in there and see if it's updated that page with the kits I've come out with. So every once in a while, I kind of look and make sure it's updated, and I send him an email every once. His name is Steve Haworth, and he manages that page. He owns that page, and I think it's a great resource. But every once in a while, I'll look in there and I'll say, oh, he doesn't have the last two kits I did updated, and I'll send him an email. Lately, he's been watching my website, so he's been updating it before I even say anything. So that's kind of cool. Robin asks, who makes the Texaco tank cars? I bought some Conoco from San Juan. So that I don't know, because that's something I need to figure out, because obviously I'm going to have a Texaco. They have a lot of Conoco facilities along the RGS. There's not a lot of Texaco ones. There's some cool Texaco gas stations and stuff that I've seen, but in Southwest Colorado. But as far as bulk oil facilities, that I don't know. I've only come across this one for Texaco. I can't remember if Dolores has a Texaco plant or not, but the RGS has a bunch of Conoco facilities. Brass Texaco cars, there you go. And I don't have any Texaco stuff at all. So now I have some Blackstone UTLX cars. I might even have an undecorated one. But I would hate to paint over the San Juan cars, because I think that would just be a shame. If you could find an undecorated Texaco car, that's probably the easiest way to go. Now, whether they're prototype or not, if the Texaco cars had two domes or something, that wouldn't work. But I mean, for operations purposes, you can just put Texaco on anything you want. But I've not seen the brass ones, and I certainly don't own any. So, and at this point, what I'm doing is kind of paying for me to be able to create the kits. But as far as having the luxury to go crazy and create everything I want, I kind of have to follow the lead of what people are interested in. The elevator factory, after they changed from using coal for the boiler house. Yeah, I agree. Having the facility so you can switch out cars, and you would be pulling them back onto in this location. You'd be pulling them back out onto the main line of the RGS to do your switching, and then further up the track, not real close, but further up the track, is Placerville, and you could do a runaround there because there's a main line, a depot, and then a track that runs behind the depot to two warehouses, and that you could use as a runaround track. Unless there's boxcars parked in front of the warehouses, then you have to shuffle all that, including the boxcars. So that could actually be pretty involved switching operation. Even a plastic kit for Texaco tank cars. Um, that I don't know. I don't think I have any. Um, you know what? Now that you say that, that does sound familiar. I can picture that. I have a lot of kits for unassembled flat cars and like rail line box cars, and I think I had so many UTLX cars. I might even have an undecorated one that I was just going to use those in lieu of um, a Texaco car. So, but it would be nice to get it decaled as a Texaco. I've been starting to make my own decals, not print them. I tried printing them and they came out fine. I just like having somebody else do them because they're better at it, and that's what they do. There's a company in uh, in Canada that does decals for my kits, and if I send them a PDF file laid out how I want the decal sheet to look, um, so I can kind of get enough space between everything, but I still get a lot of decals on it, um, and in multiple scales. Um, if I send him an email on like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock the next morning, he's got a tracking number for me, and they're already shipped. So he turns around really fast. I try to go to some other people, and I won't name names because I know that's not cool. But there's some people that just lost business because they weren't responsive, and I would follow up with, hey, it's been a week, how's it going? And then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to try somebody else. And I even sent it out to some forums for people's recommendations. So half dozen plastic kits. Yeah, I could convert something that I have, or find a plastic kit. I probably want to do a little more research. My buddy Dave Vollmer, um, down in Colorado Springs, I'd probably tap his brain on that too because uh, I spend all my time researching structures, and I haven't had any fun doing anything with steam engines, researching any of the unique maintenance away cars. I've got a bunch of kits. I probably have 30 or 40 kits that if I get to that point. But at this point, I'm just trying to um, create kits that people want so then I can eventually go do bench work and lay some track. All the track that I have is either in packages or just flex track that's just laying there. I'd like to hand lay some stuff, but I think just for expediency, I'll probably put some micro engineering switches and micro engineering track down, largely because that's what I have. So, and they're 6500 series flat and short caboose from them. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love the narrow gauge stuff. And I'm fortunate that I actually live in Colorado. I live in Denver, the very, very south side of Denver. Excuse me. So when we had the narrow gauge convention here a month and a half ago, um, I drive home 15 minutes and go back in the next day. And I got to see Bill Banta in person. We've been trading emails and on the phone for the last year and a half, and never I've never seen his face. I got to talk to him a couple of times, which was very cool because he did a lot to help kickstart. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Bill Banta. That kid over there on the bench that is the office building for Ridgeway. That was a kit that him and I talked about doing. That was the first kit we did together. And when we got done with the phone, when the phone call, our very first call, he agreed to do it. Thought it was cool. I was excited to do it. I said I just want to be able to release a kit. He said as long as you can do a minimum purchase order of a certain number of kits. I said yep. And he was about ready to get off the phone. He goes, hey, by the way, congratulations, you're now a kit producer. And I was like, holy crap, I am. That's cool. I only have one kit. Guess I better get my ass moving and start working. So it was kind of cool to actually have a conversation with him. And I was pretty much on a high at that point. And then since then, I've just been pounding away doing kits. Some of it is just stuff that I want. I don't know anybody that is going to turn to me and say, hey, Mike, I want all 12 of your Placerville kits because I want to build Placerville too. I don't know anybody that's going to say that they have that much real estate to put everything down because the warehouses are big. They're, I think, 20 inches long each. And that's just the two warehouses. That's not the stuff behind it. That's not the depot and the outhouse and the little garden area that they had and the river in front of it. All the other stuff that's down the other way, the schoolhouse and old Placerville with gas station and cafe and all that crap. Eventually they'll get hooked. Right, Dennis? So, but some people, and the thing's funny is, I would thought that people would start saying, hey, I really want that kit I just saw it in the Gazette. When the Gazette's articles come out, I don't really notice a bump. I don't really notice that, like 10 people want the cafe bar, I don't see that type of, but it's fantastic advertising for narrow gauge guys to be able to see that. There's like 60,000 subscribers or something like that. So I don't really see that there's this huge amount of people that are coming in that want that. But there's a lot of people who've already built out that part of their layout. And there's a lot of people that do Maine 2-footers and do logging railroads and Southern Pacific desert scenes and stuff. So not everybody models the RGS, despite popular opinion. Grandpa Rails is keeping score. 11 people watching and 10 likes. I don't have that view up. So, okay, so thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys tell me you want to do this again because it seems like we have a pretty decent turnout. I can always talk about the kits I'm bringing to market, the stuff that I'm working on getting plans for, how far my roundhouse is because I got a big ass roundhouse that I got to build for Ridgeway, 7 stalls, and haven't even started working on a turntable. And I think I'm probably gonna do some form of turntable myself. It'll probably be hand turned. It won't be motorized just because that's the way it was. If you guys like this time slot on Wednesday it's 7 o'clock my time, so it's 6 o'clock Mountain. If you guys are interested, I can start doing this on a more regular basis. So it would be 6 o'clock Wednesdays from now on. I had also asked this on another stream or two if people were interested, and I was like, they're like, just pick a time and go with it. And it's like, well, I know people, I've had people get sensitive about, that's my time slot and stuff. People get weird. They're like, who cares? Just do it. So maybe we could do a Zoom session too and get on. I know Dennis has got lots of experience on Zoom. So Grandpa Rail says yes. Dennis says yes. Watching my kits and wagons. Yeah. I picked up a wagon kit from Berkshire Valley Models at the Narrow Gauge Convention after swearing I would never do another one. So I'm a hypocrite. Time slot is quite busy. Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's tough. We can try it, and if it doesn't work, or there's somebody else that's on that I'm not aware of, then we can modify it. But if half a dozen people are interested in it, that alone is worth doing. So, because it's half a dozen more than I thought was going to be on it. So, all right. Well, we're going to keep it to an hour. That'll be the commitment. Start on time. Tuesday is empty. Really? Yeah, see, Tuesday's bad because that's one of my calls. That's one of my, there's a, what is it? It's the NNG group, the narrow gauge group that does Tuesdays. Oh, I don't care about Heath. Heath and I go way back. If I step on Heath's toes, I'm good with that. That's actually an attraction. So he's into like all this, the latest little toy and electronics and stuff. And I'm all about structures and stuff right now. Eventually, I'll get into cars and operations and stuff, and be able to walk around and show you guys bench work and that type of stuff. So Tom and Artie are on Wednesday. So Artie, I would watch Artie, but then when it comes to Tom, I don't know that I've really watched him that much. But I could come on to Heath's slot on Tuesday just to jazz him. So, well, I'm going to go with this slot for now. Nothing's permanent. We'll, second section podcast. You guys watch a lot more. You guys watch a lot more live streams and podcasts than I do. I've gotten away from it, focusing on this. So, Robin, thank you. And I will see you guys. We're going to cut it. I will see you guys next Wednesday at this time, 6 o'clock Mountain. 8. I'm getting all screwed up again. It's 7:05 right now. So that's 6. So that's 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock. And I will see you guys at the Athern and second section. Wife just got home. Oh, better go. Gotta go. All right. That's it, guys. I'm gonna kill the stream. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Blah blah blah. All that, all that garbage that everybody says. I really don't care if you're subscribed, but you might miss it. So anyway, thanks for joining, and I will see you guys next week. Promise. See you guys.